Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live show Revamp. My name is Tyrone Brown Jr., and I am so glad that you are with us tonight. Um, this is another season, a different season of the live show, and I'm so thankful to all of you for jumping on and being with us tonight. It's been a long time since we've done an interview, and I'm really excited. So, what I want or what I desire for you to do is, share this, like it, comment on it, even throw some stars on it. All right. I'm telling you all, I am very excited to be a part of this podcast and this production. We got some special things coming up. So y'all definitely don't want to miss it. I guarantee you definitely don't want to miss it. It's been a while. Y'all know we did the Fire Friday this past Friday. My wife and myself, of course, interviews on Wednesdays. Then, of course, starting on Monday, we got Kasyra Elvie Potts. She'll be coming on with her interview. Y'all definitely don't want to miss it. So, again, I'm welcoming you all. Tonight we have a special interview, and I want you all to know that this interview is very special to me. And so, I want to bring and welcome to the Life Show podcast none other than my bruh, man. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good, bro. Good, bro. Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Before we go any further into the podcast, man, I'm just thankful that you decided to come on and share your story. With our platform. It's definitely something that we believe that the world should hear, because you should know how far you've come. And so,
Okay.
man, again, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my guy, man, my bruh, Alvin Erves.
Yes,
And so, man, Al, where did you grow up at, man?
so I grew up, everybody probably know, it's a small neighboring town to Harvey, Illinois. It's called Dixmoor. That's where I grew up pretty much all my life, majority of all my life, for the most part. Um, I went to school in that area practically from sixth grade all the way up until I graduated from high school.
Got
And
it.
so I went to Thornton Township High School, where I graduated in 2007.
Nice. So, I mean, how was it growing up in Dixmoor, man? How was it? How was it as a child? Was it the hood? How was it?
Well, I guess you could say that. You know what I mean? I guess you can say it's kind of sort of like the hood. You know what I mean? It ain't Beverly Hills. You know what I mean? So it is a small village. It is a small town.
Got it.
It's sort of kind of like Riverdale, just like Harvey, just like, you know what I mean, all those neighboring towns and cities. And so
Right.
just growing up, man, that's being that it was a small village. A lot of the people that grew up in that area, we practically knew each other. Everybody was like family. We kind of sort of looked out for each other. We all uh, played together as kids and kind of grew up together. So
Okay.
everybody's grandmothers and granddads pretty much knew each other. It was kind of sort of like a family oriented town at the same time. But at the end of the day, like I said, it wasn't like it was Beverly Hills. It was still a lot of stuff you can get into for the most part, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, I mean, was trouble easy to get into?
Very, very. I mean, very. You got drugs, gangs, and all that stuff pretty much around you. Like, I mean, this is the Chicagoland area. All that stuff is around you regardless. So it just pretty much, like I say, up to you to kind of have that mindset whether you're going to try to engage in that type of activity or not. But me, on the other hand, I mean, I could have for the most part, but my pops was real strict on me and my brothers, man. So he was pretty much knowing what we were doing and how we were doing it and who we were around, uh, pretty much as he could possibly can. So it was like it was. I wouldn't say it was hard to get into stuff. We could probably still get into stuff, but just like the stuff he pretty much instilled in us, kind of helped kind of stray us away from a lot of trouble that we possibly could have gotten into. I mean, growing up as young black men and you know, in the Chicagoland area, it's pretty much impossible to stray away from all trouble, whether it's you know what I mean, gangs, drugs, and all of that stuff. But I mean, he pretty much kind of instilled in us and told us what to do, not what not to do for the most part, and taught us how to be young men. You know what I mean? How to be leaders and how to you know what I mean, just not to be a follower, and just you know what I mean, and basically stick together for the most part. And being that I
Yeah,
had seven brothers, it was we all pretty much did everything together anyway. So we pretty much looked out for each other. We were bonded like that. We still are. So that's
yeah,
pretty much what it was growing up in the neighborhood. So it was respect. You know what I mean? We had a lot of older family members that lived in the neighborhood, older cousins, and so I mean, as far as that aspect, living in, as far as where we was pretty much respected and protected too. You know what I mean? So like nobody would, you know what I mean? Nobody would bother us and mess with us because they knew who we were. But at the same token, it was disrespect because we all were like family too at the same time, man. So, but it's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, like I said, killings, drugs, and all of that stuff is just it's just common, man. It's just common
yeah.
for the most part.
So, I mean, being or having a father in the home, I believe that was a key to your success. Because again, a lot of our young men, they don't really have fathers. And I think that's where our young men get wayward. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with women raising children, because we know that that's something that happens, but there's an absence of a father figure being in their lives, and therefore they go wayward. So I believe that was a great point that you made.
No,
And
most definitely.
I want to ask, I mean, did you ever get in trouble?
Well, I mean, everybody pretty much gonna have their moments when they kind of stray away from the rules and regulations and you know what I mean, the teachings that your parents or your father instilled in you. Like it's gonna be a moment in time where somewhere along the line you're gonna test the waters and you're gonna want to experience things. And even though you may know like that you know you're not supposed to be doing this or that, but at the same time, and you're gonna wanna you know what I mean experience stuff, man. Like we were outside in the streets a lot for the most
Yeah.
part, but at the same token. We was somehow or another being that, like I said, it was so many of us and we was able to stick together. We was able to keep each other out of trouble for the
Yeah.
most part. And so we
Yeah.
was able to call each other out on certain things like, hey, bro, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. But then you got moments when we'll collectively do stuff and we know we're not supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I can't say I did get in trouble, but it wasn't. I didn't get in trouble to the point where I had life changing things happen to the point where it caused me to do any type of prison time or anything like that. Or you know what I mean.
Okay.
So it was like at the same token, I had my share. You know what I mean. I did my share. Everybody had. But at the same token, it wasn't enough for me, you know what I mean, to stray away to the point where I'm facing jail time. I'm thankful to God that I never had to do anything or haven't done anything that even caused me to have to, like I said, go to jail or anything like that. Like, but for the most part, yeah, everybody's in. I mean, yeah, they run ins with the law for the most part. But
I
being
agree.
on that way, man, I was pretty much on the up and up, and I was fairly a good kid growing up, man. Like I said, like about us, by me having older brothers and then me having younger brothers, I kind of got a taste of both. So I was kind of able to experience a lot of things beforehand. So it was like if I and then also friends as well. So it's like me seeing I'm the type of guy that if I see my homie or my brother go through something, do something, and it cause trouble, or he, you know what I mean, cause him a setback, or it caused a hiccup in his life or whatever, I
Right.
was able to learn from it. So growing up, man, I was the type of guy, man. I was a very very observant too. You know what I mean? I was actually a quiet kid growing up. I didn't say a whole lot, but I would observe a lot too though. And so at the
Okay.
same time, I would watch what the next guy do, or what somebody that's close to me in particular, or even somebody just could be associate. I'll watch what they got going on, or what something that happened to them in their lives, and cause them a setback or cause trouble in their lives or cause them whatever it is, and I would learn from that. I'm like, man, I just seen my brother just get in trouble for this. So I'm the type of guy I would go around that, I would dodge it, I would learn from it. So it's just not about learning from your own mistakes. You want to learn from others as well, especially the ones that's close to you.
That's good, man. Again, look, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know and if you ain't looking at the ticker tape, this is the Life Show podcast. Again, I'm your host, Tyrone Brown Jr., of course, with our special guest, Al Erves. And he's just talking with us. Now, before we go any further, let me just say this. I don't want to intervene on Al's podcast or his testimony, but I will say this. You all see the different background. Um, I do want to let you all know that the studio, there was some damage, some water damage from a top floor. And so now I'm forced to make some adjustments. But I want you all to know that, look, we was still gung ho about this assignment to do this interview tonight, and so we're gonna continue um, moving forward and going about everything is taken care of. So we appreciate everything, all of the prayers that's going out. So we appreciate all of that. But hey, everything is straightened out, so we good. God is good. Let me put it like that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you are here on the Life Show podcast with our guest, Alvin Erves. And he was just talking about his raising. He was raised by his father with seven brothers. Then trouble was easy to get into. But thankfully, through his father, he did not have to go through that. He did not have to experience those hard lessons. And so now we're at the point, bringing up to date and up to speed, that here it is. You are a young man. You are a teenager. Let's get to right about 19, 20, up in there. Where did your life turn during that time?
Well, so I would say around the time I hit 19, 20. So, I mean, just coming out of high school, like, I mean, I wish now that I could have went to maybe a 4 year university and went through the whole steps as far as going away to school. I missed that part. You know what I mean? And so, um, like I said, I wish I could have went that route, and I just didn't. So I did some schooling at a junior college, but even then, so I just felt like that pretty much wasn't what I wanted to do. And so then initially I ended up, I say my early 20s, I went and got my Class A CDL. I started driving trucks. And so that was something that I enjoyed, and that's something I like doing. And so myself, I kind of took on the aspect as far as, like, a lot of people think coming out of high school that going to college is pretty much the only option, and that's not the case, because trades are very, very valuable and sensible to coming out of high school. Is something that you can use and take with you the rest of your life. And whether it's you doing anything, whether it's construction, plumbing, HVAC, getting a commercial license, anything. It's a lot of things you can do, whether it's a diesel mechanic, auto mechanic, whatever. I just feel like I felt like I was more so the type of guy I like to work with my hands. And so I ain't gonna lie, I was a smart guy, but it just I wasn't the type of guy who liked the classroom setting in school. I like to be out in the open and out, you know, me working with my hands and getting dirty. I was the type of, like, the manly man guy. Like I said, when I was hitting 19, 20, it's just what I like to do for the most part. And I would say something that was life changing for me also is the fact that I actually almost lost my life. So, practically, with that being said, that kind of changed. Like I said, I was already on the right track, but just the fact that uh, I almost lost my life. Actually, I got shot in the neck. the bullet punctured my neck and it missed my artery probably by centimeters. So I practically could have been dead. And this was July of 2015 that this happened. And so that was pretty much a wake up call for me. And it pretty much opened my eyes and let me know that regardless if you on the right track and you're doing the right things, trouble can always come and find you for the most part. And so at the end of the day, it was almost like I took it because at first it kind of mentally had a weight on me for the most part because I couldn't understand it. Um, and so when it happened, I was out with a group of friends and we were hanging out. And like I said, I won't tap in too much about that.
Yep.
But when it happened, it was like just know it wasn't for me, but then it happened the way it happened for the most part. But just know I almost lost my life behind it. And the nurses pretty much told me it was pretty much no way that I was supposed to have survived it. And so I just feel like it was just a wake up call from God for me. And it's like I said, when it happened, and I was able to and I didn't know I got hit actually. And so only reason I knew was because I felt the trickling of blood coming down my neck for the most part. And
Huh.
so that's all I knew. And I touched my neck and noticed that it was a wound. And so I just took my shirt off, covered the wound, took my cell phone out, called up paramedics, let them know where I was, what happened, and once they arrived and picked me up. Long story short, I just told them to save me. I mean, as my oldest son was on the way at that point in time, and he was actually born in December. This happened in July, and so I just told the paramedics, "Hey man, I got a little boy on the way. Y'all gotta save me, man." And they just told me to. They need to get me to the hospital, and they told me, "Hey, you gonna be all right." And just relax. So man, I did just that, man. Like I said my prayer and I relaxed, man. And I made it to the hospital, and they did what they did, man. They saved me. And so I'll just use that as a testimony today, man. But that just goes to show you, man, you won't always have to be looking for trouble or into something. Or it don't always work like that, man. Sometimes that trouble could just come and find you, man. And I just take it as God just was trying to wake me up, and He was trying to use me because of the fact I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. I wouldn't say it changed my life, but then again, it did
Okay.
because like everybody don't experience their life flashing before their eyes like that. You know what I
Well,
mean?
what happened that it changed your life in that aspect? Like, what was your thought process? Were you thinking about going back down a different path, or how did that go?
Well, it didn't necessarily. Well, it actually it did because like I don't really normally talk about it, but mentally it did take me to a different type of level because it kind of made me careless and more heartless than I used to be because at the end of the day, I'm a giving person. You know what I mean? And if anybody that know me will tell you I got the biggest heart. You know what I mean? And I'm always willing to help anybody. I don't care who it is. It could be a complete stranger, man. I'm always willing to help and aid and assist anyone that needs it. And that's the type of guy I am. I just put out that same energy I want in return. So that's pretty much how I've always been at the same time. And so for that to happen to me, I took it as if like, okay, why me? You know what I mean? And so it made me angry, very, very angry, to the point where I was willing to do anything of that nature. I was willing to even go that route as well, because at the end of the day, it's almost like, hey, if I'm going on the right path and something still can happen to me, then at the end of the day, why do it anyway? Why not stray away a little bit? Why not, you know, you know what I mean, be a heartless, you know what I mean, dirty guy for the most part. But like I say, it just took like a lot of love from God, man, and just you know what I mean, a lot of prayer, man, just for me to stay on the right track in the midst of. And so, for the most part, it opened my eyes. So I didn't. I had that little mental mishap where I wanted to kind of go the other route, but
Yeah.
it's just like I say, it just instilled in me, and this is the heart I got. It was just like, especially with my son being, you know what I mean, being born, it was like it was no way that I could stay on track because at that point I had to set in my mind that it's not even about me anymore. You know what I mean? God saved me for a reason. And I knew then, like all in all, that I had a purpose, like for sure, because there was no way that I was supposed to survive that. And so once I realized that I did have a purpose, it was almost just like you got to search and seek what that purpose is at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, that's why I work so hard, bro, man, to be the best father I could possibly be to my boys, man. So they'll know like they don't have to ever experience things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So first and foremost, that was I felt like my purpose was to be here for my kids, man. Be a father, first and foremost. You know what I mean? And so that's when I realized, man, my life changed. But for the most part, it changed more so for the better, because I was more so grateful and thankful that I was still here. And I
yeah,
was like, man, I'm going to be there for my kids, man, and be the best father I can possibly be to my only son at that point in time.
yeah.
So it changed me, but like I said, more so changed me mentally for the better, man. I value life a whole lot more now, and you will do that when you almost lose your life. See, you can take it for granted until something happens to you where like it's easy for you to lose a close relative or close friend, but when it's your life that slips,
So
you know what I
true.
mean, between your fingertips, that it'll wake you up, man. It'll change your mental for sure, man. You'll value life a whole lot more when you almost lose it.
That's right. Absolutely. Again, look, ladies and gentlemen, we're here on the Life Show podcast with our special guest, Alvin Erves. And Al, man, I'm so thankful that you decided to share your story with us. Not only did you share about your childhood and the neighborhood you grew up in, you also shared that that you were in the midst, and you were shot in the neck, and it helped change your life. You even talked about your father being in your life and teaching you a certain way. And so now we're gonna move ahead just a little bit, because I want to get to the heart of the matter, and the heart of the matter is talking about your health. I want you to take us through this scenario where you are, where you were then, and take us through all the way to where you are now.
Okay. So so as I mentioned before, man, I did go to a commercial driving school and I did obtain my class A CDL. And so I obtained that in January of 2014. And so I was actually working that job, particularly when I actually got shot. And so in the midst of driving trucks, man, long story short, I end up having a work injury, so to speak. And so in the midst of me working and doing my job, I was actually on the job at the time. This was August of 2016. So this is actually only a year and maybe a month after me getting shot. And so I was at work, and like I said, I ended up having a work injury where the semi actually rolled over my left foot and crushed it completely. And so I almost actually lost the foot, but thankful to God, I didn't. And so that injury happened on this happened August the 13th of 2016. And
Okay.
I still remember it like excuse me, yesterday. It was actually the same day um, as the Bud Billiken parade. And that's why it kind of sticks out to me a little bit, man. But I know it's a Saturday and the injury is horrific,
Yeah.
very horrific, man. So, but even then, so man, after that happened, I went through some therapy, man. And so this happened in the month of August of 16. So carrying on, um, ended up having to do some therapy for some months, trying to kind of bounce back from the injury.
Okay.
And it kind of got tricky, man, because in the midst of me doing that therapy, I had to do an evaluation just to see if uh, I could go back to working again, man, just to see if I could fulfill those job duties and responsibilities as a truck driver all over again, man. So in the midst of that evaluation, man, it was just a normal day, man. It was at the end of my therapy session. It was just a schedule you set up with the therapist. And the reason I'm bringing this up, man, because it's very key to how everything kind of unfolded. And so I was doing the evaluation, and in the midst of the eval, man, the therapist, she put a monitor on you just to monitor if you were going your full potential in the midst of the testing. to make sure you wasn't lacking or trying not to go hard for the
Okay.
activity that they were requesting at the time. And so she said, I think I was doing it maybe like a treadmill, and the young lady stated that my heart rate was jumping up way too high for the small amount of activity that she was requiring me to do, and I was only walking on the treadmill, so I didn't think anything of it. And so she said, well, your the heart rate is going way above normal to the point where I actually supposed to stop the evaluation because it's policy. And I said, well, ma'am, I want to get through with this. I really want to get this eval done so I can try and seek trying to get back to work and get
Sure.
back to doing what I do. And so and she actually finished it. And her words to me at the end was, um, I would advise you to get that checked out. She said it may not be anything, but just get it checked out because your heart rate is jumping way too high and it's not normal. She said just get it checked out. It may not be anything. It could possibly be something as small as nothing at all, or it could be maybe a clogged artery. Anything. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just telling you. I would suggest seeing the primary.
Sure.
I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, okay, cool. I actually, and it's crazy because I listened to exactly what she said and I follow her orders. And so I had my orthopedics doctor that treated the foot for that injury. I had him refer me over to a primary doctor within the same hospital that I was being treated for that injury. And I seen a doctor, and his name is Michael Stokes, man, good guy. I set up an appointment with him. He put me on a heart monitor that monitors your heart rate and all of those things and the activity of the heart. I stayed on that for probably about 10 days, man, and he got the results back, and he said he wanted to go take steps further to see what was going on, and he did an EKG as well at that point in time. That same day, he got the results back, and then he scheduled echocardiogram.
Okay.
And so he scheduled that echocardiogram, and this echocardiogram was scheduled along the dates of probably like sometime toward the end of August of 2017. And so I did the echocardiogram. I was scheduled for that. I want to say maybe about 4:30 p.m. as far as time of day. And so I got the echocardiogram done. The nurse, she went through the following steps of just doing the testing of the heart and just seeing what was going on for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, it was strange to me because she left out of the room twice and she didn't tell me why. But I found out later on that she was contacting my doctor because I was practically near death.
Yeah.
So what she seen in the echocardiogram, it just wasn't right. And so what she did was she finished the testing. I got home probably about I want to say about 6 p.m., 6:30. I was living in Kansas City at the time, and I got a phone call from my primary doctor. He called my cell phone personally, and he said, "Mr. Erves, I have news for you. I just think I would rather tell you more so in person, but I would suggest that if you can have someone bring you to the hospital to be admitted." And I'm like, "Well, Doc, why? What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I just seen some things in the testing that doesn't look right, and I would rather for you to come in so you could be looked at and for further testing."
Yeah.
You know, but typically doctors don't normally tell you results or tell you anything, especially if it's bad news. They don't normally tell you over the phone. And so I still remember I had my older brother pick me up, and so I couldn't have my girlfriend drop me off. She had my son was young at the time, so I just made arrangements to have my older brother drop me off. So he said, just pack a bag. I'll see you in the morning. We have a bed set up for you and everything.
Okay.
I got to the hospital. This was September 1st morning. So a cardiologist came in and see me that morning. And his words were to me flat out, "Mr. Erb, you have heart failure." The echocardiogram showed that my heart was pumping at 20%. And the normal heart pumps at about 55%. So the heart pumps about 55% of the blood throughout the body, and mine was pumping only at 20%. So I was diagnosed with what's called systolic heart failure. So it gives the heart a low ejection fraction where the left side of the heart is weak, and so the left ventricle is weak and it's not pumping the blood throughout the body like it's supposed to. So
Wow.
he told me, Mr. Erb, you have heart failure and you need to start treatment immediately.
Yeah.
And he handed me a couple pills and said you will practically be on these for the rest of your life. So at this point now, um, I take 11 pills a day, man, daily for
You wait. You take how many pills
11 pills daily
every day?
every single day. And so, even with that being said, protocol is they give you 6 months on treatment of those medicines for your heart to get back to at least 40%. And if not, they have to give you the option to get an implanted defibrillator.
Yeah.
And so, those who don't know what a defibrillator is, it's practically equivalent to the same thing they'll do to you in an ambulance. If your heart stops, they'll shock you. I
Yeah.
have that small device implanted in me permanently. So because my heart didn't heal fast enough, that's a protection measure that they gave me so that if I need it, I got it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, God, it never had to shock me, but if it needs to, it will. So if the heart ever goes into cardiac arrhythmia, it'll give a shock to put my heart back into this normal rhythm to save my life because I couldn't withstand a heart attack. A heart attack would wipe me out. And so I have to deal with, along with me having that implanted defibrillator, I have to take my medicines daily just to keep the heart to protect it for the most part. And so um, at this point in time, man, it's still ongoing, man. I'm still dealing with it. You know, and
Let
I
me
got to take my.
let me ask you this. How old are you?
I'll be 34, 34 February 21st. So next week I'll be 34 years old.
And with all
Or
of
33.
those, with just being or getting ready to be 34, all of those issues came up, what, I would say, what, 8 years ago?
Right. So I would say the gunshot happened in 15, so practically 8 years, and then the diagnosis of the heart failure came in September 1st of 2017. So you're talking maybe 6 years, roughly,
So
almost
all
6.
of this stuff mounting up,
Right.
and just being overwhelming. So how do you deal with that, or how were you dealing with it then versus how you're dealing with it now?
So that's a good question, man, because this is the type of thing where it'll take more so of a mental toll on me, more so than anything, man, because just being at a young age, me having to take medicines and stuff and being treated for something that typically you will see in for somebody that's more up in age or maybe an older person or older guy or older man that'll have to deal with.
Yeah.
So mentally, it takes a toll on you. Like every day, it's a battle for me, and I'm just going to be honest. Like I could sit here and put on a persona as if it don't bother me, or if it doesn't take a toll on me mentally. But I mean, I got two sons, man. That depends on me, man. And I know my boys, I love them to death, man. They look at me like Superman.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about any of that, and
Yeah.
so they see daddy and they feel as if though I could solve anything or I could do anything. And so that just drives me to keep going, man, because if I could put that cape on and they could see through it and see me as the man that I am, regardless of everything that I got going on health wise, man, and then my sicknesses, man, that's more than enough reason to keep me going. You know what I mean? And so it used to weigh me down a lot, man. I like to a point where I kind of had my stages of depression where I felt like, why me and what is this all about and what is the purpose of this? You know what I mean? Because it's like I was perfectly fine, man. I played sports, I played basketball, I played football, I played baseball, so it was almost like why me and why now? You know what I mean? It didn't make sense, and
So
so I just
now, how did it change, or when did it change?
yes,
Because you went all the way through all of those things, and now you were in a state of depression. Now, when does all of that change for you? And in what point did you say, man, look, this ain't gonna bother me all the rest of my life?
So it was almost to the point like I would say my sons, man, like those my boys are my pride and joy, man. I got a 2 year old boy and a 7 year old, and that's with them. Like I say, man, just the joy they bring, man. It's like it's not even about me. So I don't wake up in the morning and dwell on what's going on or what's bad or what's this. My sons wake up with joy in their hearts, man, and jump in my arms and say good morning to me. And so it's like that washes away anything that I felt at that point in time as far as what's weighing me down or what's bothering me at that point in time, man. It's like they, they're the engine for me, bro. I just can't put it no simpler than that, man. Like just by them like keeping me going, man, and being dependent on me and just showing me how much they appreciate me being there for them, man. It's that keeps me going, man. So even if I have my bad days, man, I go to them, man, for that happiness, man. They keep me going, man. So it's like I said, it ain't about me, man. So it's like I wake up in the morning and do my daily routine, man. I take my meds, man. I take care of myself, man. I eat right because at the end of the day, now I'm living for them. You know what I mean? So it's like they depended on me and they need me, bro. And I feel like whatever God see fit, whatever battle He wants me to take on, man, then I'm willing to fight it. You know what I mean? And if I could survive a bullet to my face, then at the end of the day, man, I feel like could survive anything, man. And like I said, my sons, man, they keep me going, man. And that's what gets me out of those depressing moments and stages and phases in my life, man. Because at the end of the day, man, I'm living for them, man. Like they need me, and I mean, I'm not letting nobody or nothing, man, take me away from my kids, man, or weigh me down to the point where I can't be there for them, man. So whatever battle that's gonna come my way, man, I'm willing to take it on, man, because I'm not letting nothing take me away from my kids, man, or I'm just not gonna give up, man. That's the easy way. That's the easy route. You can give up, man, but man, it's just the easy route, bro. I'm willing to fight, man, for real.
Man, I love your drive. I love your dedication. And I wish more men were like that. Not saying that none are, but I wish more men would be like that. Um, and do you think that it took all of this um, to make you appreciate your sons?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it took it all because like I said, I already had it instilled in me, man, that I had it set in my mind that I wanted to be a good father, man. Like I never had a doubt in my mind that if I was going to be a good dad or a good father to my kids. And so I wouldn't say that it kind of changed it at all for the most part, but at the same token, man, like I say, like I said, they was able to keep me going through it all, bro, and
Okay.
that's pretty much what it was.
So they were your motivation
Right.
to
Exactly.
keep on fighting through all of these things. And
Exactly.
now, it just actually what it did is it brought your love together.
Exactly. So what it
It
did, man, it just
boosted up
taught
your
me.
love.
Right. Like I say, it just made me more serious about what's going on, man. It just made me like it gave me like I said, maybe it gave me a different outlook on life in general. So I took being a father and being a man serious, man, but it was almost to the point where I knew it was serious, man. I just knew like, man, it's a calling there for sure.
Yeah,
And so I feel like I had a purpose for real, and I just knew it was meant for me to walk and do what I'm doing now.
yeah.
And so that's pretty much what it was, man. I feel like it ain't no doubt about it, man. Just based upon what I've been through, for me to be able to still be here standing, and I have some people say, and even the ones who don't know, I mean, they'll look at me. You won't know about my testimony and what I've been through health wise. I mean, I don't walk around and look sick. So at the end of the day, I don't carry myself in that manner because I don't. You know what I mean? I don't accept it. Even then, even still now to this day, I don't accept it. You know what I mean? So I still do what I do. You know what I mean? And live the normal life for the most part.
Absolutely, man.
It just gives
Look,
me
and
discipline
look,
too, bro. Gives you discipline, a lot of discipline.
well, this is what you're speaking about is this is your reality. This is what you
Exactly.
wake up to every
Right.
single day,
Right.
and no one is experiencing or has experienced what
Right.
you are experiencing right now. You
Exactly.
know. So they can't tell you, well, I would do it like this because you didn't go through it.
Right.
Man, I'm so proud of you, and to the point that you are now, have two beautiful boys, and I know, I know, but maybe they need to know. Are you single, man?
Nah, man. Nah, man. Nah, I'm not single. So,
Well,
I've been,
but
I've
see,
been,
you know what? See, there's a lot of women out there that they need to know, or they need to see up close the example of a good man and what he looks like, and that's really the major selling point as to why I brought you on, because of your testimony, but also that there is a shortage of really good men. But I will
right,
say this, that it needs to be saying more.
right,
Because
most definitely.
if it's not saying more, then they'll be like, well, it's not possible. They ain't around here. Didn't
Right.
nobody, I didn't see him. Well, here it is. He from the area. He from local. So you seeing one up close that's from this Northwest region. And man, I'm so glad to have you. So
Most
now,
definitely,
what's next for you, man? What's next for you? What are you looking? Or if there are some things that you can share as to what's next for Alvin Erves?
Well, so that's a good question, man. But my take on that is a little bit different because I feel like I'm still in the chapter. I'm still in a certain chapter of my life right now, and so I'm still in the first steps of that. So I wouldn't necessarily talk about what's next because that's all in God's hands, man. So for the most part, I just moved here to Atlanta, Georgia, from Chicago. I've been here since September of this past year. And so I'm going into maybe about 5 months of being here. And so I'm still in this chapter and phase of my life, man, just making a transition from there to here. And so I'm doing a lot of entrepreneurship while I'm here. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to come here.
Right.
And then I just want to get my boys out, man, and get them a different life, man, a better life, put them in a better environment, man. So uh, I'm big on breaking the cycle, bro. That's just my whole thing, man. I got that set in my head, my mental, man, breaking the cycle, man. So it's like at the end of the day, man, just because I ain't had the best upbringing, and not that, like I said, my parents wasn't there for me because they were involved in my life, but I just feel like the environment, man. I needed to change, man. I needed my sons to be somewhere where you know what I mean. They're a whole lot safer, man. Be able to experience better things in life, man. You got to break that cycle, bro. So I feel like I don't want them to have to go through any things that I dealt with and been through. And so I brought them out here, man. Just it's a safer environment where I am now. And so I say that's a part of what it's part of what's next for me because that was the beginning stages of that. Now what's going on years from now, I can't call that, man. So I'm just staying on the path, man, and I'm just trying to stay prayerful, man, to God, man, and just trying my best to keep him first, man, and seek him for guidance and let him
So,
reveal what's next for me, man. For the most part, that's pretty much how I move, man.
so in other words, the legacy continues.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely.
That's
Most
what's up,
definitely.
man. Look, oh man, any last closing words that you would like to speak to those youth that are out there, that may, be in a similar situation or a similar position? Any words of encouragement that you can give them, or maybe even a direction?
Uh, just on a personal level, man, I would say if they don't got God in their lives, man, they need to seek Him. And if they do have Him, they need to seek a better relationship, a stronger relationship with Him, and keep Him first and foremost, man. And that's the key to having a good life, man. So that's a lot of reasons for a lot of mishaps and mistakes and stuff that's happening with the youth nowadays now, anyway. But uh, and then also, man, I would just tell them too, man, keep their own mindset, man. Have your own mindset. Don't let social because right now social media is big, man, and it's influential to a lot of youth right now, man. So it's bigger now than what it was when I was growing up and I was a teenager. We had very little social media, man. We was more so being outside. So like my my advice, man, to them would be just to don't let social media brainwash you, man, to live in your life a certain way, man. Just be you, regardless of who's around you or who's doing what. And I would just say, man, be yourself, be you, man. Don't let anybody influence you, man. I would just say, be a leader, man, not a follower. That's for the most part, man. And just uh, like like I say, have a vision, man. Have a plan, man, and don't be easily influenced too, man. That's just for the most part, man. Just like I say, keep God first, and like I say, he'll show you the way, man. He'll reveal those things to you, man, and just like I say, man, stay on the right path, man. That's what I would suggest, man. That would be my advice to the youth, man. Just don't fall into the trap that's set up, man. Right now, man,
That's
there's a
it.
lot of trouble,
That's
man.
it.
Just don't fall into it, man. And yeah, live
Man,
in your purpose. Live in your purpose. If you don't know what that is, then you can find that out.
yeah. Any shout outs, man, that you would like to give before we get on up out of here, bro?
Man, shout out to all my brothers, man. St. James Lodge, 355, man, and shout out to my Grand Lodge, man, Most Worshipful United Grand Lodge, as Most Worthy Faith Grand Chapter to all the sisters, man. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters, man. I love y'all. And so, man, my family as well, all my brothers, my blood brothers, man. Shout out to y'all as well, man. And much love. And then my two little boys, man, and my girlfriend, my mom their mom that keeps everything going, help keep everything going, man. Shout out to her as well.
Definitely. Man, well, look, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to have you on tonight. Thank you again for coming on out. Man, I look forward. And look, y'all share this with somebody because somebody need to hear it. Again, Al, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. We gonna talk real soon, bro.
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. You know.
All right, man. But I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good night.
All right, man. Thank y'all, man. Y'all have a good night as well.
All right, good enough. All right, look, ladies and gentlemen, that was my guy Al Erves, and he really y'all really didn't hear the full story, but when you hear the full story, then you'll finally realize who he is. Real good dude, family man. But look, y'all heard all of that. Share this, like this, comment, throw some stars on it, man. Look, my name is Tyrone Brown Jr. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Man, y'all stay locked in to the live show because it's only going to get better and better and better and better and better. Again, have a great night.